Hello, everyone. Evolve Benton here, the Speaking for Profit strategist. And today we're talking about moving from nervous to natural when it comes to becoming a better communicator in public speaking. Realizing that these glasses are way more glary than usual, which means my lighting is a little off. I think I'm going to leave it alone. Hopefully, it doesn't bother me during this whole conversation, but please put hashtag live in the comments or hashtag replay if you're watching in the near and dear future. If you are a public speaker, a consultant who enjoys speaking to the world about your story or sharing your confidence with the world or sharing your well-being practice or whatever framework that you've been able to come up with that has helped you or your employer in the last decade, this workshop and this space is for you. And I am thankful that you are here. So we're going to talk a little bit about what are some strategies you can use to go from nervous to actually feeling confident on a stage. We're also going to talk a little bit about pre and post talk ritual, which is something that I think we all should have as public speakers to be able to help us to continue to grow our impact and to grow our income. It's so important that we don't just go into these spaces without ritual. That's what I call it. And I hope that this is a space where you can grow a new ritual or a new understanding of how you want to combat some of your nervousness. So before we get into the topic today, again, I'm Evolve Benton, the Speaking for Profit strategist. I have helped clients and people just like you, mostly diverse leaders, make thousands, some people even millions of dollars from public speaking and consulting, which is probably what the credibility fact is, right? Like I've helped people make money. And I've been really processing a lot in my 5th year of business about what is impact. When I really first started this business, for me, being a coach was not about just money. I wanted to help people make money because what I find is when people are able to be compensated, they're able to take care of the people they love, and it makes them be wonderful human beings. Some people don't take advantage of that and they don't become wonderful human beings, but the majority of the people I've worked with have been able to do that. But the reason I'm calling myself a strategist now is that I've realized that I not only support people with getting on stages and in boardrooms, I help them come up with business growth ideas that allow them to work easily in their life and their business. So clients will come to me and say, Evolve, I want to make more money, but I want to spend more time with my kids. And many people in this field of business coaching, of business strategy, will tell you there is no balance. You can't have both. You've got to grind. You've got to put in the time. You can't rest. You got to overwork yourself. And I don't believe that. I believe that you can honestly make a good amount of money from your story, from your expertise, from the framework that you create, and you can spend time with your family, and you can spend time with your loved ones. I believe that you can do both. I don't think that you have to pick between. So that's what makes me different. That's what makes me a strategist, because I'm going to sit down with you as your coach, as your confidant, and I'm going to say, well, your price probably needs to go up if you want to make more money and take your kids to Disney World. Right? You got to feel confident in being able to do that and to create a business where you're able to do it in an easeful way. The other reason I call myself a strategist now is because I have helped people come up with ideas for their business. So someone might come to me and say, Evolve, I have a speech. I have a signature talk. I do this talk all the time. I do it at conferences. I do it at universities. I do it at various different events. I've got this talk, but they don't have a framework. They haven't turned it into a digital product. They haven't thought about making it a half-day workshop or turning it into a book. I help you think about innovating and growing your business in ways that you didn't think are possible. That's what's so special about working with me. And I've really been sitting with that because sometimes I'm on sales calls, discovery calls with people, and the information that I get from them is like, what can you do for me? That's what they'll ask me. What can you do for me? I know there's a lot of speaking coaches out there and they've got calculators and they've got email scripts and they've got this and they've got that. Everybody probably has the same thing because we're in the same industry. Everybody probably has the same thing because we're in the same industry. Now, the attention to detail, a person that's actually going to strategize with you to build not just a speaking business, not just a consulting business, not just a business that helps you work from anywhere if that's what you want to do. A person that's going to help you build it in the way that you want to live your life is a strategist, not someone who's going to give you a cookie cutter experience based off of thousands and hundreds of thousands of public speakers in the world. I want to help you build a business that is connected to the life that you want to live. And as I sit here telling you this here today, that's what I've been able to do. And I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful. I thank God. I thank my ancestors. I thank my beta clients. I thank the people that have trusted me. I thank the coaches that have coached me. I am so thankful that I was able to make enough money from speaking and consulting and strategizing with my clients to help them grow their businesses where I could leave a toxic work environment that probably would be almost having me near my deathbed today if I still worked in that environment. I'm so thankful for that. And the only way that I was able to do that is because I decided to build a business that I wanted to work in. And many of you are building businesses that you don't want to work in. You're building businesses that other people want to work in. So instead of me saying, hey, this is how you build a speaking business, these are some ways that you can build a speaking business. These are some ways that you can become a consultant. These are the ways I've done it. These are the ways I've seen my clients do it successfully. But you might have a whole unique way where you could do this. So if you learned anything from me today, we'll get into the conversation around like getting past the fear of public speaking. But if you learned anything from me today, be the CEO of your life and your business. Decide when you're going to work and when you're not going to work. Decide what kind of clients you want to work with and what clients you don't want to work with. You don't have to build a business that's just there to help people that don't want to help you. Build a business so that you can be there to help yourself. So this is Profit and Purpose Live. And the reason I had that moment with you right now is because now we're talking about purpose, right? We're talking about purpose. We're always going to have a conversation about that. And we're always going to have a conversation about your skill set, which is important for you to be a public speaker and to be able to share your story and feel confident and not feel extremely nervous every time you hit a stage. That stuff is important as well. But for you to build a business that you actually want to work in is even more important. So that's what I've been resonating with. I'm like, are things working like I want them all the time? No. But literally what I wanted to manifest 5 years ago, I'm living it in this moment. I don't have to get up early in the morning, get on no train to go to no job where people aren't going to treat me well. I don't have to do that no more. I kind of wake up when I want to for the most part. Sometimes I need to wake up a little bit earlier, right? I get to work with people I actually enjoy working with. I get to decide the clients that I work with, the projects that I take on. In a moment where authenticity is lost, I get to be that. And that's the power of having your own business. So as long as you promise to be the CEO of your life and your business, there is so much that you can do. Believe it or not, before I get on any stage, including this one, even a virtual stage, I get extremely nervous. I have for my whole life. I've been on stages my whole life for the most part. I went to private school. We used to do like programs. Anybody, if you were in school and had to do programs and were forced to, I remember one year I was Harriet Tubman and had to do a poem. I probably was 5 or 6 years old that I'd memorize and say. I've been doing this for a while. When I first started working, my very first job, I was a ride operator at Universal Studios for Back to the Future. And that was a public speaking job, believe it or not, because I had to tell people about how to be safe on the ride and do a whole skit and make them feel like they were really in the movie and a part of that experience. Got to college and explored spoken word and got to be nominated and get the award of Poet of the Year. Shouts out to Soul of the Poet and everybody from Dillon University. Moved on from that and moved into writing my own book and putting out a documentary and have spoken at colleges and universities all around the world, spoken at some of the top schools, Had the opportunity to speak at UCLA, UCSF, all these amazing places, spoken at pride events in front of hundreds of thousands of people, done all this work and still get nervous. I still get nervous. So I want to say that because I am not the person who is fixed it all. I just know how to mask it well. And I understand that when I am nervous, it means that I really care. The things that allow me to not be nervous and be in the moment, I'm going to share with you today, but it doesn't mean that I'm not nervous. It just means that I'm able to mask it and actually know what it is so that I can move through that experience. I expect it now. When I don't feel nervous, I'm a little bit like, what's going on? That might actually frighten me a little bit more than being nervous. Because I'm like, what, body? Are you present? Are you here? Are you here, boo? That's when I'm starting to question myself, right? But I'm going to be nervous. And you are too, because it matters. And it's a natural body function. So I wrote down a few notes, bring these up. If you're watching, please put in the comments of this video where you're watching from and what's your public speaking topic? Like, I would love to hear that. Like, what are you currently excited to speak to the world about and hoping to turn into a profitable business? So 3 ways to overcome the fear of public speaking. The number one way is to practice progressive exposure. Practice progressive exposure. And I love this because it's really about you getting used to hearing yourself speak before you go into an audience. And sometimes we don't focus on that. Sometimes we focus on preparing more than we actually focus on hearing our voice. So you could start off practicing in front of a mirror, maybe a few close friends. Even with your friends, it's not going to be like a real audience, especially if your friends are anywhere like my friends. My friends are jokesters. We gonna have a good time. We gonna get a kiki. So people taking something serious might be a little bit difficult, but practice with a close knit of people or community. Maybe you can try out Toastmasters, or if you feel comfortable enough, going to an open mic where you can take some friends, but you have a actual stage to be on because it's a different experience. And then start to go into more larger groups and share as well. Maybe you go to a conference and you share, or you do a workshop. Put yourself out there to exposing yourself to speaking in front of audiences. That can really help you with getting over the fear of public speaking. We have to get started somewhere. And I wanted to share that narrative with you all, that I've spoken on so many different stages in all of these different stages of my life. And I still get nervous because I know that this is a real fear. I think if you look up statistically, 85% of people would rather die than to do public speaking. Like, they're more fearful of public speaking than death. So this is a real fear, and I don't want to belittle it in this moment. I just want you all to know that there are some other opportunities for you to practice and to get more comfortable. Practice makes us more comfortable. Folks used to say practice makes it perfect. I don't believe that. I think it just becomes more comfortable in your body and you get used to the nervousness that may come up. So that's number one. Practice progressive exposure. Put yourself out there more. Get started speaking. Number two, refrain from physical symptoms. Like, you don't want to judge the physical symptoms that come up with your body when you are nervous. Racing heartbeat, butterflies, all of that. Instead of saying, "Oh, that means I'm nervous," another way to reframe that is that my body is preparing to show out. Like, I'm feeling my body is preparing for the stage. I'm not nervous, I'm energized, I'm ready to perform. That could be an affirmation. I'm not nervous, I'm energized, I'm ready to perform. Because that's really what it's doing, is preparing your body and knowing that, okay, we're about to do something that is probably going to change the world. You think you should be doing that and showing up and just feeling like nothing? You're about to go out there and drop some knowledge, or drop a framework, or say a quote that might stick with someone in their life forever. It might be the one opportunity that you have sometimes to even save someone's life. There's so many moments that I've been in my life where despair has came up, and I've thought back to conversations that I've had with my elders, with my ancestors, things that I've heard people I really respect say. And that reframes that moment for me. So the fact that you're feeling like your heart is racing, you got butterflies, maybe you're like me, sometimes I get sweaty palms. All of that means that your body is warming up and ready to do something really impactful. So let's reframe it. Instead of saying, oh, I can feel myself getting nervous, I can feel myself warming up and preparing for this amazing opportunity I get to share my story with the world. I don't know if y'all know, but some of the most powerful people who've ever existed on this planet and that currently exist on this planet are the people that have the microphones, the griots, the speakers. So for you to feel nerves, like that's beautiful. You're connected to spirit. You're feeling like, hey, this is a moment. It's a good thing. So those are the first two. We want to practice, get more exposure, and then we want to reframe those physical symptoms to things that aren't just positive, but that showcase we're aware of what's happening in our bodies and we're prepared for the moment. And then the third one is really focusing on serving your audience. Your audience should be the most important thing that you're thinking about when it comes to your speaking opportunity. Yeah, you want to feel good. You got to make sure that you're on top of your game. You're able to over deliver. You feel good in your body. You feel good in the moment. You don't feel disheveled. But it's really about the message that you're giving the audience. And when you concentrate on giving value rather than judging your own anxiety, you're going to be so much more present with the moment. There's opportunities that I've had where I felt like it wasn't as good as it was. And then I'll look at a recording or a playback and I'll be like, that was actually really good. Because sometimes you're so in the moment, you can't really resonate with what's happening. And that's when you know you're in flow and you're doing good. Or when you go into a space and time moves so quickly, like you're like, "Ah, I was in a 2-hour workshop facilitating and it felt like 15 minutes. Like you're almost floating in the experience. You're just there, it's moving, it's doing well, right? So, top three ways to overcome the fear of public speaking: one, we want to practice progressive exposure. Two, we want to reframe those physical symptoms to highlighting that we are ready to prepare, we're ready, prepared, and ready to perform. And three, we want to focus on serving our audience. As a bonus, I want to give you a few tips on what I believe every speaker or consultant should have. And that is a pre and post talk ritual. And everyone's pre and post talk ritual is going to look different depending on what you need for yourself. But here are some examples of what you can do to calm your anxiety and to really ground yourself in the moment. Because that's really what happens. When we get nervous, we start to feel anxious, and anxiety is about us trying to control a future moment. So we don't want to mess up. We don't want people to judge us. It's all about us trying to control. So we really, when I feel anxious, I know that I'm ungrounded and I need to ground so that I can actually be in the moment and be prepared to change the world. So, some things that you can do is for your pre talk routine. You could do some deep breaths, maybe 5 minutes of deep breathing. Repeat a personal mantra to yourself. One of my favorite personal mantras right now is I make money with ease. I make money with ease. And I've really been working with when I'm trying to create things that aren't simple and that uh, are rigid, that means that it's probably not meant for me. So, what is a mantra you can say to yourself to ground yourself? Maybe a brief physical warm up, jumping jacks or push ups or getting into a power pose, whatever might be more comfortable for you. And then really reviewing your key points without overthinking. So I think before you get on the stage, grounding yourself in what you're going to say, even practicing a little bit of your speech is great, but you don't want to be over prepared so much where you don't really show up as an authentic human being and folks feel like you're acting. That's not what we want from the experience from the stage. So it's like that really good balance of reviewing your key points but not overthinking it so that you don't self-sabotage. So those are pre-talk. Pre-talk is before you get on the stage, maybe when you're waiting behind stage, maybe on your way in the car to the venue, because sometimes when you get to the venue, people want to do sound check, this and that. You're on from the moment you get there. You think you're going to be on when you get on the stage, but you're really on the moment you get to the event. So having an opportunity to ground by yourself could be great. If you have a rider or a contract, you could even put that in there. I know some people are really, really strict about this pre-talk time. So you could say, I need 10 minutes before getting on stage to do my pre-talk ritual, and have that within your contract so that people understand not to book you up until the moment you get on stage, and to give you some space and time for that. Pre-talk, right? Before we get on the stage. The next thing is our post-talk. This is after you've gotten that standing ovation, after the event organizer is so excited about the outcome of the opportunity, after the audience is coming up to you and asking you, can they get a card or can they take a picture? The aftermath, right? Can I buy your book? Can I buy your shirt? The aftermath. It's important that we take time to acknowledge what went well. Really take time to acknowledge what went well before we start going into what we could have done better, having anxiety about our performance, what were people thinking, what went really well, what did you enjoy about that experience, what did you enjoy about that organization, and maybe taking some time out to just journal about it for a moment. What did I really enjoy about this experience? Would I do it again? What would I want to experience from this event that I want to experience at every event moving forward? And then you can go into a little bit of feedback. What is one specific thing that you can improve on for next time? Just one. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you were really nervous and you want to look at some other things you can bring into your pre-talk routine to help with that. Maybe you wanted to spend more time engaging with the audience as you spoke and you noticed your head was down more. So you want to work on that. Just one thing. We don't need a list of 10, just one thing that you want to improve. One thing. And then I want you to reward yourself in some small way. Reward yourself. I usually have like a post hoc meal. I'm going to dinner. We're gonna eat good. One thing gonna happen, we're gonna eat good. We're gonna have a good meal. Culinary experience. A culinary experience. We're gonna eat good, right? But how are you gonna take care of yourself? Glass of wine, go on a hike you've been wanting to go on, spend time with your kids, watch a movie, play a couple hours of video games, go work out if that's what you like to do for fun. Everybody has a different thing, but reward yourself in a small way. It doesn't have to be something you even pay for. Maybe it's just taking time to just relax, to not work that next day, to start that next day at noon instead of 8 or 9. Figure out a way to reward yourself. And then you do want to connect with your audience members for immediate feedback. This is on the business side. What happens is we'll speak at an event and we take 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to follow up, and we lose traction. We lose momentum. The truth is, people remember you probably for 48 hours. So you want to have some type of follow-up process set up. You can set up an email sequence where when people join your list from that event, maybe you have like Talkadot set up, right? Talkadot is a great platform if you all want to check it out. And you can get testimonials and surveys from there. We have like a full walkthrough of how to set up your Talkadot in the Profitable Speaker Circle, which is my amazing community. I say my, but our, because it's really of so many diverse speakers and consultants who are looking to monetize their signature talk and really start to convert free conference events into actual compensation or future events. But we have a whole walkthrough of Talkadot. It's a really great platform. I'll share more about it in another video. But if you have Talkadot set up, it's going to collect the emails of people who fill out the testimonial survey for you after your speech. And you can set it up where it's automated there or on your email responder to follow up with that person. Maybe you just enter it there so you don't have to do it manually. Then it gives them an email. It says, hey, it was great to meet you at this event. Would love to get on a call with you. So then the next week, you have a few different calls with potential people to build on that talk for other business. Because the other thing that comes up is sometimes people are nervous and anxious because they don't have a business that functions in a way that makes you feel abundant. So that's a way that you can already prepare yourself for that. So, pre talk ritual, think about what you want to create for that. And then what do you want your post talk ritual to be? Some of you might be watching this video and you might be new to public speaking and you're like, I don't even have a talk yet, or I'm only doing free talks. Start off with free talks. Think about and imagine yourself on the stage and what you're going to do before and after before you even get an opportunity. Because when you get that opportunity, that's not the time you want to think about what's my ritual. You already want to have that set up and give yourself permission to change it. Different times and different versions of yourself need different rituals. Like if you're going to an event and you're speaking about graduation and inspiring people compared to if you're going to an event and you're speaking about grief and overcoming sadness, you might need two different rituals and two different pre-talk rituals and two different post-talk rituals for those different experiences. So play with it, enjoy it, but make sure it's ritualized. What does it mean to be a ritual? It means that you're going to do it. You have a plan for it. It's consistent. And you're saying that it's something that's really important. It's not just, I'm going to hit a stage and I'm going to do really well and they're going to pay me and they're going to fly me out on first class and we're going to have a good time. It's intentional. Yes, that's a part of the experience and the environment. But in order for me to over deliver and show up and show out, these rituals must be done. So today we talked about from natural to nervous, right? No, from nervous to natural. Kind of split that up. I do that often in my life. So from nervous to natural. And natural is the way I'm speaking with you today, right? Like comfortable, okay with making mistakes, okay with fumbling, really being authentic in the moment. And that's what you want to be on the stage. So I've gave you a few different things for you to consider. One, if you do have the fear of public speaking, those are some strategies that I would suggest practicing. Sometimes people come to me and they want to make money from public speaking, but they're not even comfortable doing it. This is not a career for everybody. But if you are comfortable, if you are confident, if you know you have a message and a framework that can save the world, why aren't you sharing it? One, and why aren't you monetizing it too? And if you want help with doing that, please join the Profitable Speaker Circle. It's an amazing community. I'm excited to continue to grow it. We actually have some really cool stuff dropping in the next month. We're going to be opening up our partner program, which means that people will be able to invite people into the Profitable Speaker Circle and get a kickback, right? Like a monthly kickback. So we're building our own economy in that space. But also it's just some really amazing like speakers and folks who are out here sharing stories that are literally going to change the world in that space. And I'm coining us as one of the most diverse spaces as well. I believe we're one of the most diverse spaces when it comes to public speaking and when it comes to consultation. The reason I say both is because some folks I work with are professional speakers. They're doing keynotes, they're doing workshops, and some folks are doing like full half day trainings, full 3-4 day consultations. So no matter which business you're building, they require the same skills. They require being comfortable speaking and facilitating space with an audience. They require business acumen for you to be able to name your price, negotiate, and really set up proper contracts. And they require sales and marketing. Like if you're selling yourself, you're going to have all of those skills. So it would be an honor to support y'all to join that. You could check that out in the description. I'll also put the link up. Let me see if I could find the link real quick. Give me one moment. Where is it at? Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. Okay, there it goes. This is the link if you want to join the Profitable Speaker Circle, if you feel like that could be support to you and your business. So take some notes, do some journaling, and do me a favor. If you're watching this, please put into the comments, what are 2 things that you plan on implementing today? Because we can listen and we can take in information all day, but implementation is what's going to take us to the next level. So do me a favor, put into the comments, what are 2 things that you're going to implement today to be able to, number one, get past the fear of public speaking. If that's something that you've really been sitting with as like, I don't want to be scared of this. This is a fear I'm trying to like eliminate from my life. If that's you, what are 2 things you're going to do for that? And if you are a person who's speaking consistently or even inconsistently, but you know you can be better at your delivery, what pre or post talk ritual are you committed to installing into your business so that you can be more successful? So do me a favor, write those down, put them in the comments. I would love to hear. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for using your most valuable resource with me, which is your time. And I hope that you get abundance in your life very soon. I wish you easeful abundance. And until next time, peace.